Lately, Martin Garrix has been dropping gold for producers. Short videos, casual moments, but packed with insight. I went down the rabbit hole to extract everything he's been silently teaching us.
I wish more people in the world knew that.
I watched not only his latest YouTube shorts, but also a lot of his old videos and interviews to learn how this dude makes his magic.
Once again, I'm not like a magician.
I gathered really golden stuff, along with his secrets.
I have no secrets I can show you.
Man, shut up, will you? Damn! Alright, here are the topics of this video. Each chapter is based on something Martin himself said. Don't be scared by the amount of topics. Many of them are really quick. And if anything ends up sounding confusing, feel free to use the comment section. Let's go! This very first chapter is all about setting ourselves up to start making music, getting in the mood, having the right mindset, etc. What better way to start than with choosing the right DAW for you? Let's hear what Martin has to say about FL Studio.
I use FL Studio, and to record vocals we use Pro Tools. FL Studio is just an extension of my brain. If I think of something, it takes me 30 seconds before it's in there. It might not sound good, but the idea is there, and then afterwards I polish it.
I hope some of you work with FL Studio. It makes life easier.
Truth is, all DAWs do the same things. You see, if you ask the biggest producers in the world which DAW is the best for making music, they will all say the one that you feel most comfortable with. Here's my tip: if you're just starting in music production, make a quick research on most popular DAWs and pick the one you like the most and try out their demo version. Set the mood. How do you like the mood when you're in a studio? Can you focus when there's a lot of noise going on around? Do you put your phone on flight mode so you won't get distracted with social media? Our boy Martin has some words for us.
What's the process when I'm in the studio? I do not connect my studio laptop with internet unless I have to like download some files or plugins or shit. I don't want to have my email or anything on my production laptop. Also, one, viruses, two, distraction. Whenever you're stuck, you tend to go, oh, let's look on Facebook what's happening. My phone is a big distraction, so whenever I feel inspired, just put my phone on flight mode and focus.
For me, it's simple. Once I'm in a zone, I can go hours producing. Even if I pick my phone up, it helps me take a break and refresh my ideas. Make tracks for yourself. This is something I both agree and disagree with. Before I say something, check out his words on this.
I always make the tracks for myself. I want to stand fully behind the track before I even think about putting it out. And of course I'm testing out new tracks just to see how the crowd reacts, how the response is. Of course I test it out, but it's not that I'm like, oh, this track doesn't work live, so I'm not gonna release it.
My other point of advice is make music for yourself. I make songs where I know I'm never ever gonna release it, but it's almost like a meditative. It gives me joy. I think the moment you're in the studio, make sure you keep that joy.
I used to make music just for myself, but honestly, it didn't fulfill me. My goal has always been to move other people, to make them feel something. So here's my take. Put your personality in it, but don't ignore what already works. I'm pretty sure overthinking is the #1 enemy of every producer. As a self-diagnosed perfectionist myself, I can easily spend 30 minutes tweaking a sound without even having a solid track idea. The simple fact that the piano just doesn't sound good, man, I gotta fix it.
I think that's what music is all about. You should not think too much, you should just do whatever feels good for you. You should enjoy it, you should not think about, oh, I have to make this because that's what people want to hear. Fuck that, you should make whatever you want to make, whatever you want to represent as an artist. And some people are worried very stressed about, oh my god, I'm not having my break yet, I should change my sound because that's more popular right now. No, if you look at the people who are breaking right now, who have like huge successes, the people who are unique.
My biggest challenge is finishing the whole arrangement. I mean, I can do it, but the simple thought of it scares me. Fortunately, I've been working on that and I can say that I'm now way better at finishing tracks, even if it ends up completely garbage. Thing is, because once you have the song structured, if it doesn't sound good, you'll have a lot of work to fix it later. First 2-3 hours are the most important.
For me, what's very important is that the idea is already there. That I'm not stuck on like, oh, it doesn't sound that good yet. I think the first 2-3 hours when you make a song is the most important. Because after that, you're just gonna tweak, you're just gonna make it sound better, you're gonna work on the sounds. But if you're like in the first 2-3 hours, here have a melody and you're gonna listen to 20 different sounds or like work for 1 hour on one sound. It works maybe for you, but for me, I notice that I'll be already very quickly tired of the song, or I get used to the melody and I forget that maybe if I do a note different, it's even better or even worse. I can play some rough ideas in the bit. Some of them is literally just me humming like melody or like using the init from silent just with a melody, but that's because I don't want to lose the melody. It sounds horrible, but you can hear the song. Making music is all about...
Bruh.
For me, music is about having fun, and for me, as I said, the first part of the process is the most important. For me, I get uninspired. The longer I work on a track, the less inspired I get. In the beginning part, it's just about the melodies and the chords and stuff, and afterwards I go freak mode, and then I'll make sure it sounds good. I start adding different layers to a sound, but if the sound already has a melody and the chords are clear and it's structured in the first 3 hours and I'm very happy with it, then I decide, okay, I'm gonna finish it.
You can spend a whole day working on a single track and still end up with garbage. Or you can give your best in the first 2-3 hours, then stop and wonder, is it still worth my time? When you keep an average limit time in mind, you're set up to try your best and see what happens afterwards. If it ain't worth the time, less time you took in failure. And as you fail faster, you'll eventually succeed faster. Music is all about emotion.
What I think, which happens a lot right now with electronic music, is that it sounds too... It sounds too electronic, like there's no emotion attached to it. I don't know, for me music is all about transferring emotion, generating certain feelings, generating happiness. And I'm a very happy, energetic guy, so I want people to listen to my music and get like the same feeling.
The feeling it gave me, and for me it's very important that music gives you a certain feeling. I think it's really important is to give a feeling in the break. Also with Wizard, Jay and I spent so much time working on creating a melody which kind of touches you, you know?
Yeah.
And
touching people in their emotion is a great way to get them hooked to your work. But then again, I think Martin didn't express himself well on the subject. As a Garrix fan myself, I'd say his tracks are 80% danceability and 20% emotion. You know what I'm saying? When he says emotion, I like to think of it as the capacity to make people dance, and it's the rhythm that really gets people dancing. Here comes the coolest part. This one is a dance chapter, so stay with me. We're gonna learn how the man himself does his sorcery in the studio. Chords gives a feel, it supports the melody, sets the mood of the track, while the melody is what makes a song remarkable and recognizable anywhere in the world. When it comes to making us dance, I dare to say melody has a bigger role than drums do. Keep this statement in mind, we'll get into it in a minute. When doing my research to make this video, I had a blast reading some really useful things on the internet. I was trying to understand which music element is the most important, melody, harmony, or rhythm, so that I could come here and make a whole point on how Martin chords are overlooked and way better than his melodies. Naturally, I turned to the most elite academic source, Reddit, and there was this comment. The majority of people that listen to a pop tune are not educated in music in any way. They are not going to sit down and figure out why they like what it is they like. They simply are caught by the piece as a whole. I say this to agree with a few others here that say you cannot separate the melody and the harmony into more important / less important, because it is the matching of them that the listeners hears and not each one of them individually. This shit was rude awakening to me, yet very welcome. A new perspective to help me approach music is always good. And as for different perspectives, this next concept is gonna blow your mind. Melodies are 90% rhythm and 10% notes. This idea actually deserves a dedicated video. Back to Reddit, there are many opinions on the statement itself, but apparently most people agree that rhythm has a bigger role in melodies than notes do. So my man here said, I don't think this statement is really wrong, but maybe framed the wrong way. A melody can be rhythmic by nature. Honestly, I don't think melody has to be any percentage rhythm or notes. This statement might be useful, however, if you're the kind of person who can only think about notes and could improve your writing by thinking about the rhythm in your melodies more. So yeah, next time you're stuck on a melody, forget the notes, just try making it dance. In my case, I always approach the music like chords and melody are all about hitting the right notes. I'll leave the rhythm for the kick and percussion. That mindset always kept me from getting to the next level, you know? Even though sometimes I ended up making good melodies. How this concept applies to Garrix, you may ask. Whenever I watch him create a melody from scratch, it almost seems like he has a built-in metronome in his brain, which helps him make very danceable stuff. Along with that, this dude knows what he's doing when it comes to combining awesome harmonies with his signature melodies. Almost all of his videos starts with chords and melody. In other words, the core idea of the track.
Is that the process you are into when you're producing? Like first you're playing your guitar with a progression chord or
Yeah.
how do you do it normally?
I write everything on the guitar. It has to sound good with just the guitar and a vocal, and then I want to put production on it. I want the song to be next level and the production to be next level. So in order to really make a focus on the songwriting, I love to strip it down to just the guitar or just the piano.
Almost all my songs start just with melodies or with chord progressions. Sometimes it doesn't even start on my computer. Sometimes I play the guitar. Sometimes I sit with a songwriter and we just hum melodies over chord progression. And that's what I like about music. There are no rules and you can basically do whatever you want to do. I'm all about melodies, chord progression. If that feels good, that's the most important thing. For me, I'm all about songwriting, about the melodies, and I just do what works for me.
If I were to summarize in my own words Martin's formula to make bangers, I will definitely say rhythm in the form of melody plus chords heavily layered to become one big sound. Now, in his own words,
if you could describe like a certain Martin Garrix value, what would that be?
Martin Garrix sound?
Yeah.
Festival, like it really works in the clubs and at the festivals.
this comes along with something I've been stressing lately on my channel, sound selection. Layering to get big and fuller sounds. Many say mastering won't fix a poor mix, so I say mixing won't fix a poor sound selection. Layering is the holy grail of EDM production, and is all about sound selection. In case you don't know layering's importance, here's how much Martin stresses it.
I just layer a lot.
The trick I have to make something sound bigger, I try to not edit a sound too much. I just like to add sounds. If I want something to sound more full, more bigger, I just layer it. It doesn't mean you have to hear the layer, but just the smallest, slightest amount of something extra lifts something completely up. And this is another layer. But you don't really hear this, but just when you play it all together, it makes more sense. I'm all about layering.
And then when that is structured, when that feels good and solid, when that already takes you on a journey, then I start adding like layers of production. I'll do like strings or like percussion, drums. It's like a puzzle. I like to start small and then take it from there. Okay, what I usually do to make my sounds sound more fat or make the track sound more like one piece is to create several layers. So the first layer I had in the first part of the break is this one. That was the first layer, and the second layer is this. It's also a big saw with a filter on it. The layer which is making the good sound is this one.
At first glance, you may think layering is all about stacking as many sounds as you can. It's not just about stacking layers, it's about choosing sounds that complement each other. For example, both wide and narrow sounds, both low, mid and high sounds, using different octaves, etc. Samples and sampling. Did you know that the kick in Forbidden Voices is this basic kick that comes in a FL Studio?
Do I use standard samples? No. Sometimes I use the basic kick in Forbidden Voices from FL Studio and it pissed a lot of people off. They were like, oh my god, I used the basic FL sample, but that's what samples are for.
What about the vocal chop in Scared to Be Lonely? A simple vocal sample from Splice.
It's a vocal sample I actually found on Splice, and then I put it in a slicer, pitched it, and then rendered it as one thing.
The line, "We are the fucking animals," was recorded by a friend of Martin.
It's a friend of mine who recorded it for me. It's called Chen, Vince. I will show you how it sounded before we did anything with it. This is what he said.
We are fucking animals!
It sounds really weird if you know how it sounds right now. And he actually says right here, we are fucking animals. What I added over there was t, just to make it sound like weird, t fucking animals. And a lot of people think they are saying motherfucking animals or some other shit, but it's actually weird fucking animals. Yeah, then with a shitload of effect. I have this one with a vocodex on it, just making it sound more, yeah, robotic. Then I have this one, also with robo kind of thing, also with the vocodex. And then this one is also vocodex with a lot of white noise.
He also talks a little on how he used to just record his friends' voices, play with it, and have fun. Check it out.
After school, I would go to my house, record my friends, their voices, pitch them weird, and just like have fun with it.
Likewise, in the Animals track, specifically in the intro section, he sampled the loop from the legendary Vengeance sample packs. He used Vengeance's stuff a lot.
The intro was actually one of the easiest things to do because I found a loop which I really liked, the notes which the loop had, but I didn't like the sound, so yeah, I edited it a little bit. This is how the original loop was sounding.
And that's the loop from like a sample CD or
yeah, from this one is from Vengeance. Yeah, this one is from Vengeance. Yeah, it's a very simple loop. And what I did was I downpitched it a little bit, changed it a little bit too. Put a camel fat on it, probably camel crusher. And then I just the first part. Pretty lazy, but I like how it sounded, and that's important for me.
This next one's got me surprised. Many would argue he's lazy by using FL's basic kick, but those saying that should know Martin also makes his own kicks by layering different samples. Check it out.
I have a kick which I sampled low frequency from Sander Van Doorn, Joy Energizer kick. I sample a lot of kicks from other tracks, and then not the entire kick, but I just take the parts which I like. So if there's a really cool top kick, I just take the top kick and put another low under it. Or what I did with Sander Van Doorn, I really like the kick in Joy Energizer, low frequency, so I took it. I added another top kick on it.
Who's the lazy one now? Something really interesting to do to get inspired by the art of sampling is to watch breakdowns of popular sampled songs. There's a lot of channels out there like TrackLib. Next up, stock plugins.
It's funny, I just used the basic grand piano from FL Studio. I use a lot of FL Studio plugins. I use a lot of the FL things. FL Reverb, great.
When we come to this part, also Vocodex. This is actually a really cool plugin from Fruity itself. You have some really nice presets in it. You can actually just take a vocal and create something completely new.
When it comes to presets, he can't help but talk about vandalism, shocking sounds.
Which preset packs do I use the most in my productions? I love Vandalism, but right now I created my own pack. Over the last few years I just saved like my own favorite sounds, I tweaked my own favorite sounds. Now I made like my own pack, so whenever I have like a rough idea, I go to my go-to pack, and it works very quickly and it's very, very convenient. This is a really cool pack, it's called Vandalism. Vandalism has a lot of different packs for silent sound banks.
His laziness shows up again in the break section of his song Oops, in which he used the init preset of Massive.
I actually used the init a lot. I did a song called Oops. I used the Massive init for the breakdown. And then it's funny because on the internet people are like, oh my god, he's fucking lazy, but yeah, if it sounds good, why not?
You know, I struggled with this a long time ago, but fortunately I got over it really quick. I always thought, man, there's nothing professional and creative in using samples and presets. This is so amateurish. If you have the same thought, remember what the youngest DJ to headline an Ultra Music Festival in 2014 at the age of 17 years old once said, "That's what samples are for. If it sounds good, why not?" If it sounds good, why not? Words Martin says a lot, which has 10 times more impact coming from him.
I can produce, but I have no clue what I'm doing. I just do some stuff, and if it sounds cool, it's good. And that a lot of producers are working the same. It's pretty lazy, but I like how it sounded, and that's important for me.
As soon as you don't hear the difference, it's fine. Because in the end, if it sounds good, who cares?
I have my critics to this method of trusting what you think sounds good. I actually have a video about this, links in the description. But for now, I'll stick with his opinion for the sake of workflow. You see, there's one too many producers out there on the internet saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, never compress over -3 dB of gain reduction. Yeah? Tell that to Skrillex. Truth is, Martin actually went to school in the Netherlands called Herman Brood Academy, a school that teaches music production. So yeah, the man's got theory chops too.
So I went to the Herman Brood Academy and they taught me a lot of rules. Oh, you should do this is how you should do that. Very helpful. But for me, when I produce, I don't really think about the rules. I just do whatever. If I think, oh, it needs more bass here, I'm not going to be like calculating exactly how much more it needs. I just put the bass on. It saves a lot of time, a lot of extra thinking, and it works for me.
It goes with that video I mentioned earlier. First, you need to know what you're doing in order to trust your ears. Obviously, Martin already made bangers before going to school, but his production's quality sure leveled up after he went to school. Now I'm gonna show you some extra quick tips to improve your productions before we finally dive into mixing and mastering. First, the call and response, used in almost any genre from blues to EDM, basically refers to filling up spaces between melodic lines to create a conversational flow. You can hear it in this Animals example. Listen closely to the sounds that comes right after the main melody stops.
They're really important for because I think this is a little bit boring. You know what I mean? It just stops there.
Those rising reverberant shots. Hear how they kinda answer the call that the pluck makes at the very end of each melodic line, such a small move that makes such a big difference in how interesting your track is perceived. Furthermore, no need to mention the importance of variation and contrast, right?
And I have a shitload of automations to make it more interesting. But those are all just really small things to keep it interesting and to make sure every time you hear something it's a little bit different than before. That's what I do a lot in my other tracks as well. Just put really small little sounds or little things which are a little bit different from another part in the track to make every part of the track sound different. What I don't like are like aggressive breaks, because in my eyes, a break really needs to be a break. Then the drop is completely CO2 guns and crazy.
Yeah.
I really like the break because it has a feeling, you know. And what's important in tracks is not only like when you're playing it at the club, that it's only like hitting people's face and
you're looking for a contrast probably, right?
Yeah.
Reverse shots are a widely known trick, and I gotta confess that I'm very lazy to use this trick.
Like. It's actually a cool effect which you can create by just take the first note from the synth you have, or from the plug in this case, put a shitload of reverb on it, render it and reverse it, and then it's actually almost the same thing I did with a lot of other sounds as well. That's cool because then it's getting used a lot of vocals as well, that you get like that you're kind of getting
the tail of the reverb and then the build.
Yeah.
Now something really important to mess up with is velocity. If you want your electronic sounds to sound more humanized, changing the velocity of those notes is a go-to.
You showed right now like the grand piano. How you handle that, the velocity stuff, just to sound more humanized?
It depends. I work with George Timeford a lot, and he's an amazing piano player, so sometimes we record his piano, and then you hear like the amazing velocity difference. Sometimes I use an existing MIDI file played by a piano player and I just change the notes so you get like the feel that it's still being played by a real piano. But yeah, here you can see the velocity and you can see it's all not on the same level, so it sounds like it's played real.
To wrap up this production chapter, I'll leave you guys with two great advice. First, some say you need 10,000 hours of experience in something to become an expert. It's a great rough idea, but isn't as simple as that. What happens is, Martin kind of flirts with this idea when he suggests you to lock yourself up in a studio and make as much music as you can.
Have you got any advice for up-and-coming DJs and producers that want to be like you?
Yeah, be a computer nerd and lock yourself in a studio and just create music, because that's what worked out for me. I'm really bad at making or finalizing songs. Like I'll have a lot of 95% finished songs and then I'm stuck. I'm like, oh, I'll go work on something else.
How much of what you make ends up being released?
5%. But the thing is, I make so many ideas, and then when I'm stuck on one, I start a new one, and then I'm stuck on a new one, and I start a new one, and then I end up with 30 unfinished songs. And then my management is like, hey, Martin, would you mind like finishing one of those 30 ideas? Funny thing is, Animals was one of the tracks where I took an old idea, which I made like 3 years ago, and reopened the file and made a new track around it.
Second one, get feedback. This is also connected to that video I've mentioned earlier. Long story short, someone told me my tracks used to sound like something is lacking. So after that, I produced Hit the Ground, and the same person said that I finally got the job done with that one.
He gives me feedback about everything. If I have a new track, I'll send it around on Skype, like, hey, you've got some feedback. Of course I have feedback. If I hear a track, I've got some things which I would do different as well. So, and that's the nice thing about having an extra couple of ears listening to your track, because then you can also get a different vision on the track, and you can get some new feedback, maybe something which you wouldn't have thought about yourself.
Moving on to mixing and mastering. This one accidentally ended up as being the quicker chapter. It's good because it goes to validate the concept that poor sound selection and bad arrangements won't be fixed in mix and master. But keep in mind that we can't overlook those things though, especially mixing. Did you know one of the rules of the mastering engineer used to be to put the album in order, choosing what tracks would follow others? Those are the words of my man B. Delic. Not sure how to pronounce his name, but his videos are fire. He made 2 amazing videos on mastering, how to not master your tracks. I highly recommend you go check it out. As I said in the intro, it isn't my goal to give advices like tweak this or tweak that and your mix will sound better. Mixing and mastering can be very complex, so to save us time, I'll just let Martin tell you how he approaches mixing and mastering.
My mix down is the most important. I want the mix to sound perfect without anything on the master, and when it sounds fat, when it sounds harder, when it sounds big, then I start compressing it on the master, so that will give like the extra punch.
So you said the song itself should be fed before it goes to the master channel. How are you like putting compressor or limiter on every single track, or how do you reach this loudness?
The loudness is not about like how much you edit it on the master chain, it's about the mix down. But this is like before you put anything on the master, if you make it sound good, if you get rid of like the stupid frequencies, but that's some stuff I do at the end of the process. It's not what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but how do you reach it? Do you like use compressors on every single track?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then
yeah, what I was saying, I don't put anything on the master. Sometimes when I do club songs, I do a lot of times when I do pop songs, just because it's very hard to make something sound good, and also because I just start exploring the genre. But with club songs, I don't usually put anything on the master until I'm very happy with the mix down and it sounds already good without something on the master. And then when you start using compression, it's like you give it a shitload of Red Bull and it gets crazy. Actually, when I produce, I don't have anything on the master channel to make sure I'm not fucking up the sound, and in the end it's very nice, because then if you already make it sound good without anything on the master and you put something on the master like multi-band compressor, or I use the isotope ozone and I use the multi-band from ozone, the dynamics. I can show you how it sounds with and without. This is how it sounds when I made it, and this is how it sounds with the isotope on it. Way more aggressive, and that's what I really advise to other producers. Don't put anything on your master until you actually are okay, the track is done, it sounds good. I just keep my lower frequencies in the mono spectrum, and then the more high frequencies get, it goes like this.
Yeah.
Because when you play a song live, you don't want the lower frequencies to sound weird, you just want it to like hit you. I have no secrets I can show you. This is my master channel, and this is the version I sent to the record label, and the one that's on Spotify and on the radio. Simple isotope master channel.
The fact that it just throws an Ozone 5 preset on the master and sends it to the label really shows how strong his sound selection and mixing skills are. A true legend. If you get to this point in the video and found it helpful, let me know in the comments by saying good stuff bro. Now once again, we'll talk about mindset, but this time long-term mindset. Record labels. Every upcoming producer dives into music production dreaming of when Spinning Records is gonna sign them. This mindset is only gonna frustrate you. Let me tell you a quick story about my journey trying to become the next global superstar. I used to make shit music and post it on SoundCloud, worst platform ever by the way, hoping any big DJ would see it. The only reason my SoundCloud profile has over 0 plays is because I used to submit my releases into Spinning Talent Pool, which is another bullshit, honestly. Spinning system is flooded with bot accounts which instantly plays your music after you post it on Talent Pool. Not even a single real human being interacts with you through that crap. Spinning, no hard feelings, still love you guys, hit me up. This leads us to a real OG platform, YouTube. Back then, I never considered uploading my music to YouTube though. Dumbass, I could have been creating content since many years ago now, but for some reason, it never came to mind. As time went by, I got to a point in my life where I was so darn frustrated with music that I straight up wiped music production from my life and started studying to become a policy detective. All my old projects, samples, files, all gone. I literally wiped my hard disk. Wild, I know. Looking back, that was probably extreme, but I needed a reset. And also, if you're wondering, I didn't become a detective. Music won. I'm back again, but this time with a totally different mindset. While I still would like to release the next Animals hit, now I'm sharing with you guys what I've already learned and what I'm still learning. And if you're still watching up to this point, I think you've learned something. And that's my goal with this content. Now have a listen to our boy Haritsang's words on record labels.
I was so happy with the track, I sent it to Spinning Records and to all kind of labels. At that point I was like super convinced it was a super good track and I could release it, and I even had a friend of mine sing the vocals, like we recorded it super bad, low quality, and we sent it to label, and unfortunately we never got a reply. I found back the project file like a year ago, and now I understand why the label didn't reply.
Why?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like good, but you can hear the ideas. And what I had trouble with was that no label wanted to sign my stuff the first 4 years, 5 years. And every time I had a track, I was like, oh, this track is amazing. And then I sent it to all the labels and I would get no reply. And as a producer, it's the most frustrating thing ever. Especially when you think like, oh, this track can be a hit. I just need a good label. But right now, if I listen back to the tracks, I'm like, of course the labels didn't reply.
Luck. Something that is intrinsic to getting signed by a record label is luck, and you can't deny it. In almost every scenario in which someone is successful in something, luck had its part. Here's where hard truth punches you in the face. You can be the most talented producer in the world and still have low chances of getting recognition. I mean, having the right tune that will speak to millions of people and to release it in the right moment, just as what Martin achieved with Animals, is 1 in a million.
For me it worked out luckily great, but the thing is, because there are so many producers out there right now, it's harder to get known because the level of producing is so high. There's so many great producers who have great ideas. Right now it's more about like the right time, the right song, and also what worked for me, the right team around me, the right song at the right time. Of course, most important, the talent.
Keep learning, there's always room for improvement. After reality punches you in the face, you can lay down and cry, or you can get back to work and keep learning stuff to improve your sound. I remember how good that felt when I learned something new almost every day. When I used to find new tools in FL or new production tricks, always learning, you know. But as time went by, I stopped trying to learn more, and one day I thought, alright, now I know so much stuff and I'm obliged to make the next Animals hit. And yeah, you already know how that turned out.
With all of the experience that you've got, when you come to a set like this, when you're making your music, it's hard work, but is it getting easier the more you know?
No. No. For me, I still feel like I learn so much every day.
Yeah.
I make mistakes in the studio. I'm like, oh, hey, this sounds kind of cool. And I'm always trying to find new things producer-wise. I also want to improve the show. Every show we do, we record, we watch it back with the whole team. We're like, hey, this we should improve. Here the lights were off. These visuals look good. I try to learn new things every day. I'm still learning every day.
I was always too like stuck up on like, oh, a label didn't reply and I wouldn't produce for 2 weeks because I felt bad, and then I was like, oh fuck, I'll try it again, I'll open the program.
Although I do think every minute you are behind your laptop, even if you don't finish a song, I still think it's still every day I learn from every song. Sometimes I do something by mistake and I'm like, yo, this shit sounds cool, and you learn something because the next time you want it to sound like that, you know how to get that.
This is it, we made it to the end. Man, this one was hard work. 12 days writing this script. If you found it helpful, click these buttons to increase your production skills by 3%, scientifically proven. And feel free to suggest me something in the comments to improve my content. If you have anything to add up on the subject of this video, speak up. Appreciate y'all and see you guys soon.